Welcome to a very special session of Book Club, dear listeners. As of this recording, this is going to be probably a month or two at least into the process. We have changed up our Patreon tiers. And that is, that comes into play right here, because for $10 a month, people can pay for the privilege to send us smut for Smutty Book Club. We're not sure why you have, but thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we are going to, essentially what that is people can send us 500 to 600 words of smut, either something they've written, something from a fic, something from a book. Just, if it's not yours, source it to us. We are going to basically read those aloud and discuss them in character as though they were a book that the players have all read. And we'll probably make details about plots and whatever, because we're here for the porn, apparently. We're kind of trying this out right now. We're just kind of gonna see exactly how we can make this work.
And not get kicked off Apple Podcasts.
Right. So right now we're going to try and doing this. We're going to try to do this right here. We may end up kicking to a bonus episode. We're just going to play it by ear. If you're hearing this on a bonus episode, that's what we did. But for now, please check the show notes if you can. Use a podcatcher that's not just a terrible Apple one. We believe in you. You can do it. In there, I am going to try and put in some content warnings for what we're discussing, and some time codes so you can skip it if you want. We're going to try and keep this at the end of the episode this time, or as a bonus feature or something. As I said, it's kind of a work in progress. Thank you for bearing with us as we figure out how to read pornography for you as our Dungeons & Dragons characters, which is a really weird sentence to say.
Which, unfortunately, I am not a part of.
Right, Rio made a huge tactical error as a smut peddler themselves. Arturos does not read, and therefore is only privy to the smut that we have been sent. And cannot engage with it himself. Mac, I believe, has repaired the first one of these.
I have.
So this is not a user-submitted one. We do have at least one in the tank right now. We probably won't get to that because, again, we're working the kinks out. Kinks.
Hey. Oh, I thought we were doing the one from the from Saturn. Let me get my other one up.
Well,
I've got both.
If you want to do the one from Saturn, that's fine. It's whichever one you want to do.
Honestly, both are fine by me. I don't know that.
Let's do the one by Saturn.
Yeah.
You got it.
Okay, then. Mackenzie has read these in advance. The rest of us have not.
So, out of character briefly, we got this one from Saturn. He submitted us this part, which is from How to Howl at the Moon by Eli Easton.
Ooh.
So, at Book Club, Win, who's currently wearing a different hoodie and a pair of leggings and Birkenstocks, casually stands up and she goes, now that we've all read the novel, I kind of do want to talk about this, the love scene here and how it kind of culminates everything in their relationship.
Oh, jeez.
Jesus.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, like that.
Lance growled a little harder and latched onto Tim's neck, gently with his teeth. Tim forgot all about laughing. Oh God.
Honestly, I still, every single time this dude's name came up, I just kept thinking to myself, Lance? Really?
Lance.
Like
the weapon.
Like the weapon.
Yeah, and Tim. Tim just seems like an odd contrast to Lance, doesn't it? I would so much rather Timothy.
It's very normal. It's a normie name.
It's not a werewolf name. It seems like they should have a cooler name than Tim.
Exactly.
Timmy Tim
lover.
Timmy Tim.
I'm not Tim. He's Tim.
With that light bite, Lance guided them both to the ground and then pulled and nuzzled and pushed till Tim was on all fours. Tim.
It seems like a lot of work to do with your mouth.
It does. Actually, you're right, Artie. Tim had a few dregs of his logical brain still online, enough to wonder at himself, to be surprised at how hot this was. But it fucking was. Out there in the night, naked on a mountaintop with Lance's beautiful and very male human form, but the beast still prowling just below the skin. There was something dangerous and primal about the animal nature, completely unself-conscious, focused, unashamed, and lost in its mate, driven by pure instinct.
Mate.
And then Lance nuzzled between Tim's cheeks and began to lick him there.
His mouth?
Sorry, there?
There.
His anus, everyone.
Oh! Yeah, I was kind of
Is-
lost for a little bit in that part, honestly. It was kind of...
Yes, it's eating ass, if you will.
Oh, but that's... I mean, I understand the change in language. That's a little bit less sexy, but lick him there?
Mm-hmm.
It's tough because I've been on a lot of mountains and it's rocky and there's bugs and there's groundhogs and it's just...
It's very chilly, too.
Yeah, it's very cold.
And honestly, like, is the werewolf spit, like, better for lubrication?
Huh.
It's really not.
Oh, no.
Thank you, Veli. Tim's mind rolled over and joined Lance in letting chemistry rule.
They got horny, is what they're saying.
Yes.
Tim and Lance got real horny. They got horned up.
Lance licked and worried at Tim, opening him up. He didn't use his fingers. His hands were braced on the ground, arms on either side of Tim's hips, and there was something incredibly sexy about that. About the single attention of his enthusiastic mouth, about being touched by nothing but the cool night air, the wafts of heat radiating off Lance's body behind him, and those lips, probing tongue and teeth.
It just occurred to me that we're making Jake listen to this.
Hi, Jake.
Hi, Jake.
Hi, Jake.
Hi, Jake.
Jake, if you want a raise, let me know.
This is a raise in itself, isn't it?
Ew, boo.
I didn't mean it that way.
Tim panted and moaned and tried to dig his fingers into the dirt beneath them.
Uh-huh.
See, it's dirty.
Yeah.
It's a dirty place.
And it's just like night air, so you're really chilly.
Really cold.
It's very cold. He said teeth. You don't want teeth, necessarily.
Oh, why is there teeth? What's he biting?
Why is he biting?
What is he biting?
Bite
Probably
the butt.
skin.
Did you just
I would
bite
think.
the
But
butt?
bite
Like,
the
just
butt. Chop the butt.
Like sort of coming up
Bite.
from air from the butt to bite the cheek? To bite the butt?
Yeah,
The
but
cheek,
that's,
yes.
that makes sense to me because sometimes you just want to bite a cheek.
Do you?
Okay, but he's a probing tongue and teeth.
Oh, that's
Oh, probing
That's-
teeth. Oh no.
that is a good point, Arturos. That sounds unpleasant.
Yeah. Honestly,
It's very unpleasant.
honestly, a lot of these books feel kind of unpleasant.
That's fair as well.
They the saliva. They get very excited and they don't really take enough time. I guess I don't.
Well, we don't know how long it takes
I don't know what
sometimes.
the fuck I'm talking about.
Continue.
There was that one we read where it was like after loving her for a long time, and they just kind of skipped the 20 pages that it would have been of him going down on her.
Which feels like kind of a shame, honestly.
It is kind of a shame, but also it kind of makes sense when you're just doing like the same thing. But back to this, I suppose.
Right.
Lance, please, he begged at last. I need you now. Lance obliged. He rose onto his knees, laved Tim with spit,
Gross.
used his hand to gather pre-cum from Tim's cock and spread it on his own, added saliva, and then
Oh,
grabbed
no.
Tim's hips.
No.
Oh no.
He wasn't rough, but he was insistent,
No.
urgent. He penetrated Tim with one long, slow thrust.
Oh
Why?
no.
Oh no.
It's magical werewolf.
It doesn't
It
work that way,
works.
right? I don't think it works that way.
Maybe
It's
it does
a
for
dozen.
I
werewolves.
have
that
never had
way.
sex with a man.
It's a different hole, I'm pretty sure.
It definitely doesn't work that way.
I don't think
No.
it works the same way.
Tim's head dropped onto his arms. Fuck.
I mean, I guess that is technically what they're doing.
He spread his legs wider and canted his hips back, inviting his lover to take him, and Lance did.
I can't believe that's not a paragraph break there. It really seems there should be a paragraph break,
It
inviting
does-
his lover to
yeah,
take him.
I
And
feel like there
Lance
should be an
did.
Indian. And Lance did. He held onto Tim's hips with both hands and pounded into him to the point of pain. Ow.
What was he going to do
Ooh.
with one hand if it wasn't both
no.
hands?
Just hold it up in the air and ride like a cowboy. A breeze ruffled Tim's hair and painted goosebumps down his
Yeehaw.
spine. And the
Oh, cold.
sharp bite of Lance's cock became a lustful thrill that curled Tim's toes.
Lustful thrill?
Sharp bite. Does the cock have teeth now?
Maybe that's what the teeth were.
Maybe.
No.
The probing teeth. There you are.
Oh, terrible.
Lance was pounding him, open body and mind both owning him, and Tim had never felt so high on arousal or so alive. He shifted his hips slightly so that Lance was hitting that sweet spot inside of him, and bliss ramped up with every thrust.
Okay, I feel like the sweet spot inside them comes up a lot in the books we talk about, and I feel like that spot seems to move around. But they always talk about it like it's one specific spot, like you know exactly which spot we're talking about, but I feel like I don't know which spot they're talking about. It keeps moving.
I know which spot they're talking about.
I as well.
Okay.
I don't think they know which spot they're talking about.
Okay,
I think that's fair.
As long as contextually someone knows what spot we're talking about.
Honestly, I'm just following along. It sounds... it's referred to consistently.
I guess.
Can't Tim manage feeling his testicles tighten and his cock throb where it hung heavily down between his legs?
Why do we agree to read these aloud?
Why testicles? They couldn't come up with a better word than testicles?
Especially when you have testicles and then you have another cock right next to it. Cacophony, what would you suggest as an alternative?
To testicles and cock?
Yeah.
I might just go, colloquial, like,
fruit and veg?
Balls tighten.
Is fruit and veg? Alviva, you gotta...
I have mixed emotions about calling it fruit and veg.
I regret everything.
I need help reacting to something.
Maybe I should leave.
No, you're fine, Alviva. Just be more aware of using fruit and veg in the future.
I'll never, ever use it again.
I don't know. I don't think about testicles that often.
Schlong.
Schlong's good.
Oh, no.
Hot dog and buns? No, that's a butt.
Artie, what would you use?
I don't think I would describe this, though.
Are there some fish metaphors?
Sword and pommel.
Yeah. Yeah, I like sword and pommel.
Gotta sheath it.
Well, it's already sheathed.
The sheath is the anus, Alviva.
Right.
Thank you, Win, for Cacophony.
You're welcome.
I learned so much in book club.
Alright, so the pommel tightened and the sword throbbed?
And the sword throbbed where it hung heavily down between his legs. Christ,
I think
he was going to come untouched.
Oh no!
Who is this Christ? Comes up a lot in these books.
I know,
think he's
right?
a god from another plane. Something like that.
And you just sort of keep invoking a god?
I mean, that can happen.
That can happen a lot.
That's a weird way to pray.
Lance made an incomprehensible sound above him and pounded even harder, his thighs shaking and his fingers gripping tight, his breath soft grunts. The sound and feel of his desperation was enough to send Tim flying. The first pulse hit the ground, and Tim grabbed himself with one hand and squeezed, so intensifying the sensation that a cry left his throat.
No, your hands are dirty!
Everything's dirty and sticky and dirty.
Oh no,
and
it's
rocky,
covered in
and
dirt.
there's pebbles.
You know, I kind of think this... No. I'm not done.
I feel like maybe a mountain isn't the best place to have this intimate experience.
Not in the open air. Like, make it a tent. Put down your cloak or something.
Put
Maybe
down a blanket.
cave? Spread maybe on some nice moss?
I mean, but if you're a werewolf, do you think about that? Do you care?
I've met a lot of werewolves.
We'll have
okay?
to ask Max, I suppose.
Oh no.
But
Let's not. Let's put that in a box.
I'll ask him at some point when you're not around.
Oh, you don't have to do that.
Werewolves are people too, okay?
He's not. I don't even think he's a werewolf.
No, I'm not talking about Max.
I just feel like if you got pebbles in your hand and then you squeeze your
That's
sword.
a recipe for disaster. You gotta wash it. You gotta wash your hands.
Alright. Is there more to this?
Yeah, there's a
this
little bit
pain?
more.
Just a little bit more. Lance stiffened behind him, threw back his head and let go. His howl rang out into the night, a vibration of life, a wild echo of ecstasy and joy.
Okay, the howl part does happen.
Really?
Yes,
Oh,
it does.
howling does happen.
Can they stop that? That seems like that'd wake the neighbors.
Yeah, no, that's That's why the rest of your neighbors are werewolves. They're like, we get it.
So you're doing it surrounded by all of their family?
I mean, who hasn't walked in on their parents once or twice?
Me.
Several times.
Now I'm sad.
Oh, right. Well, consider yourselves lucky.
Sorry, your parents are probably dead, but at least you never walked in on them banging.
What I would give to have been able to walk in on my parents banging. Oh,
Wait.
what a tragic life.
Wait a minute. They weren't just wrestling. That was like 9 months before the twins were born. No!
Well, now you know.
I don't want to know.
Neither did I, but here we are.
I have 3
Seriously,
younger siblings.
I just feel like this whole scene is supposed to be pivotal to their entire character arc, and
It's them finally coming together, literally, for the first time after struggling for so long to deal with their attraction.
right. And Tim finally accepts Lance's wolf parts, specifically a one wolf part in particular.
And Lance also finally accepts his wolf side, which he was struggling with, and lets out a howl.
Right, and he also accepts that Tim is named Tim.
Yes, indeed.
Right, and his howl's the most beautiful howl of all.
You'll notice that nobody's begging the name Tim.
Tim.
Tim. Timothy would be better, frankly.
No, you can't even improve with Timothy. Timothy is the name of like a 6-year-old boy.
That's true.
I'm Will Timmy. That's the only way that you can have someone named Tim. Sorry if you listeners named Tim.
I think it's nice that the werewolves got to let go and enjoy themselves. I just wish they'd picked somewhere softer and less dirty.
Yeah, not in the middle of a mountaintop. No tent.
It's gotta have a den. Right? Werewolves have dens like regular wolves do, I assume.
Well, yeah, but they were going on that adventure. What were they?
No, you're right. They had to go replace the staff in the tomb of
Anus?
In the tomb of Anus. Oh, that makes a lot of sense in hindsight. I mean, I guess. I'm just not a huge fan of this one.
That makes sense, honestly.
I just keep thinking of all the werewolves I've fucked on top of a mountain. And they were courteous enough.
How many has that been, exactly?
Let me roll a dice real quick.
Which die?
Which die? Let's just do a d20.
Bold.
Wow!
I would say
16.
more than 10.
Dang.
More than 10, less than 20, probably.
That seems to suggest...
Some nights it was more than 1.
It must be pretty good if you keep coming back to it that many times.
Was it the same wolf or different wolves?
Also, that implies that it might actually be a werewolf thing. Like, maybe werewolves really like fucking on the top of mountains.
I mean, we had tents, and it was only by a campfire. We had, like, sleeping rolls. We were on a mission. Somebody had just kicked me out or something. I don't quite remember the reason why.
You shacked up with them because they kicked you off the ship, huh?
Only sometimes.
How often? Was this the same guy?
No.
Was it sometimes, like, his sister?
This is getting awkward. Are these questions that we really need answers to? Take a minute, Jill. Jill, do you want to know? Because don't ask questions you don't want to know the answer to.
I have further questions.
Mm-hmm.
Was on the tent on the mountain, was the werewolf at some point maybe embracing you to warm you up while a vampire looked on angrily?
No, the vampire was right behind the werewolf.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Why would he be angry about this? He's the one who suggested it. He's like, hey, let's take a vacation up on the mountaintop. We can do it again.
That's fair. I was just wondering, don't worry.
That's a big tent.
Magic.
Tiny hut?
I think. I don't know.
Big
I wasn't
hut.
the wizard.
Is a tiny hut nice?
It's really
It is
nice.
very
I love
nice.
tiny
Yes.
hut.
Seriously, that was such a good choice. I really, honestly, thank you for the tiny hut.
I am glad that I chose that, honestly.
Okay, so what's our rating for this book? Because I feel like 3 out of 5.
3 out of 5 eggplants?
I still don't understand the eggplant thing.
I say 2 eggplants. It was Veli's idea. I don't know. Veli, why eggplants?
Yeah, does that mean something?
I'll tell you later.
You say that every time.
It's a metaphor for dicks, everyone.
Is it?
Wait, but
Oh.
they're not purple.
Sometimes they are.
Wait, no, sometimes they are.
They
Damn.
are?
I forgot about the purple ones.
Why are they purple? That sounds like you should see a doctor.
I mean, there's purple people in space.
That's fair.
I give it 2.5 eggplants.
Ooh, ow.
I can't get past the whole the dirty hand going directly to the dick.
Yeah, that's the
2
same.
eggplants.
Thinking about the rocks, and also had trouble with Tim.
Belly, what did you think?
I think it's a great way to get hookworm on places you don't want hookworm.
Ooh, I'm lowering my score to 2.
Mhm,
Ouch.
mhm.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna go flat 1 there. Tim.
Tim, though.
I want to imagine hookworm anywhere down there.
Bad name. Lance and Tim. It just doesn't roll off the tongue very well.
Their ship name is Lim.
Oh, I hate it.
Or maybe Tans.
If we want to do a second one, I do actually have my Captured by the Highlander open.
Let's go with 1 for now.
Got it.
I got one more thing I want to throw at you guys before we end.
Alright.
Okay.
All right. Then that is going to do it for our Smutty Book Club Patreon. If you would like to check that out, go to our website where you can find links to our Patreon. It's patreon.com/thegemjam. All right. Thank you again, Saturn, for submitting that. What was that title and author again, Mac?
Oh, I just closed that 1 second while I get it open again. That title was called How to Howl at the Moon by Eli Easton.
There you go. Check that out if you're interested in the further adventures of Tim and Lance.
Thank you, Saturn.
Gem Jammer is performed by Alexi Peppers, Annie Creighton, Kit Walker, Mackenzie Weaver, and Rio, and is edited by Jake Mason. Our character designs are by Rio, who you can find at vriosart on Twitter, and our cover art is by Canary Witch, who you can find at doodlesfromthebird.tumblr.com. Our opening and closing music is by Reckoning Storm AudioWorks. For more episodes of this show and our other shows, as well as news, check out our website at crookedrussiancamp.horse.
Alexi fell off.
Lost audio
Okay.
again.
I was moments away from saying they had to go return the staff to the dick-sucking factory.
Now that's just on the nose.
The dick-sucking factory just pops right into my head whenever I need a random location. Jake, we're sorry.
Hi, Jake.
I'm not sorry for anything.